Good morning and welcome to Living Local 15. I'm Jessica Williams. Thank you so much for joining me today. And guess what? It is Friday. On today's show, we are learning all about the largest block party happening in downtown Fort Wayne on Sunday, August 20th. The Open Streets event blocks off 2 miles of road and allows for residents to enjoy and see the community like never before. So they are joining me in studio to share more. Also, the Beyond Van Gogh Immersive Experience is ending on August 10th. That means that you only have 1 week to attend if you haven't already. So later in the show, we are giving you an exclusive look inside the exhibit. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Fashion, food, and fun. You're watching Living Local 15 with your host, Jessica Williams.
The city of Fort Wayne is closing down 20 blocks for a day of fun, networking, and community. And their primary organizer for Open Streets, Neil Miller, is here to share more. Hi, Neil.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Okay, so it's a block party.
It is.
It's happening.
The city's largest block party is what we like to call it.
Okay, so this sounds so awesome. Okay, so August 20th, okay, on a Sunday, You're closing down this whole road, and what's going to happen?
So we close over 20 blocks of Calhoun Street all the way from the Landing down to Pontiac Street, and we bring fun things in for people to do. So we put over 100 things to do along the street. You don't have to worry about vehicular traffic. You can go out and celebrate the way that you and your family and your friends want to. So we always encourage people bringing their bikes, bringing their skateboards. We're going to dance in the streets. We're going to have food. We're going to have all sorts of fun things. So there's so much going on.
Dancing in the streets.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this sounds like so much fun. And so what can people do? So they can do their sports and activities, you know, like you said, roller skates and all that kind of stuff. But what type of vendors will be out there?
We have so many different types. There's truly something for everyone at this event. And that is one of the things that we pride ourselves in, is being able to connect with basically every single person who would attend. So we bring in different organizations, nonprofits, the city and the county will be represented. There's Touch a Truck. We've got food vendors, food trucks that are going to be out there. There's a live BMX show. So there is so much that we have going on. You're going to be, as you're traveling along, you're going to see so many different things to do. And there's so many opportunities for you to stop and learn new things and experience new things. And it's really is a really fun time.
Yes. And so it's from 12 to 4 on this Sunday. And people can come out, and you're actually going to have some transportation for those who may need a little extra help getting up that 20 blocks. So share about that.
Absolutely. So it is a long stretch. We know that it is. So over 20 blocks, for some people that might be a little bit daunting. Like, I don't necessarily want to walk all the way there and then have to walk back to my car. So we partner with a CTN, and they provide a shuttle service. So what you can do is you can either start somewhere in the middle, or you can start at one end, work your way down, hop on that shuttle, get taken right back up to the beginning so that you can get back to your car. So we want to make sure that it's accessible to everyone. The vehicles are accessible that are doing it. So it allows people who may not want to travel all 20 of those blocks, then travel all 20 plus of them back. It allows them that option to be able to experience it and then get taken back in the air conditioning to their car so that they can experience it that way.
Good. And you talked about the entertainment aspect of it and people being able to dance and have fun. Will there be a live band, a DJ? What's happening there?
All of the above.
Okay.
We have a DJ that we're going to be putting under one of the railroad trestles in Fort Wayne. So as you're riding along the street, you're going to hear that music. That's one of our big pushes this year, is what we're calling the Open Streets Beat. We want you to be able to groove as you move.
Yes.
That's what we're saying. So we're going to be funneling in music from the outside. We're going to have speakers along the way. We will have 4 bands that will be there. We're very excited to have live music that'll be happening right next to Welch's Ale House down on Masterson. So really, we try to pack as many things in, so as you're traveling along, you can experience all of those different things. So the answer to your question is yes. All of the above, yes.
Right. And with this being the 6th annual, what are you looking forward to this year? Something different that you may not have done in the past.
You know, I mentioned the Open Streets Beat, and that is kind of the concept. We've always had music, and we've always incorporated music in different ways, but one of the things that sometimes people can experience whenever they go there is, with over 20 blocks, there may be some quiet areas where you're riding along and you're not necessarily hearing anything.
Right.
So we wanted to try to incorporate as much of that music and as much of that sound as possible. So we're trying to fill in some of those areas where things might be a little bit quieter. There is something great to be said about just riding in a quiet street, as we want you to to have that kind of meditative moment, but we also want to provide a little bit of ambiance for you. So that is one of the things that we've been putting a lot of energy into, is to making sure that you have that music, you have that beat as you go along throughout the entire event. We're very excited about that.
That is exciting. Okay, and so with this event happening, what else is going on for the rest of the year with the City of Fort Wayne?
We do. So I work for the Trails Department typically. So we have so many different events that we do every year. Specifically for those people who may enjoy bicycling and getting outside and being active, which that's one of the focuses of Open Streets. We have our Trek the Trails events, which take place every single Tuesday at 6 p.m. throughout the summer. They start at different locations all throughout the city. So that's one of my main focuses, is I want to get people out on those bikes. I want to get people out using the trails and utilizing active transportation however I can. If bicycle isn't for you, we also have our Tread the Trails events, which is every other Thursday. And those are for walkers, runners, and wheelchair users who can go out and experience the trails as well. So we try to get as many opportunities for people to be active as possible. That's one of my goals for my job.
Yes, and the city, they do such a good job of maintaining the parks and the trails and just the cleanliness and just all of that. So it really is a really nice experience when you are walking and enjoying the landscape and the greenery. So that's cool. You have a cool job.
I do. I'm very, very lucky. I appreciate you saying that about our parks and trails. Yes,
absolutely. And if someone wants to learn more about this Open Streets event, where should they go?
Open Streets Fort Wayne. So openstreetsfw.org or cityoffortwayne.org/openstreets would be another option for that. We also have we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, so you can check out our social media for all of those closer to the day updates, things like that. But yeah, we're very excited. We're trying to get as much of that information out there now so people know how to prepare for the event. Okay,
thank you so much, Neil. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. I'm so excited to have been here.
And you heard it, you can dance in the streets on August 20th at the Open Streets event provided by the City of Fort Wayne. We'll have their website listed below, and we'll be right back.
Have an idea for the show? Want to find out how you can be a guest? Contact us at livinglocal15@wayne.com.
Welcome back. The Beyond Van Gogh exhibit is the largest immersive experience in the country. It is a floor-to-wall experience of Van Gogh's artwork that is completely mesmerizing. This is a world touring art show that came to Fort Wayne, so we wanted to share with you again our experience and take you on the inside. This segment sponsored by Beyond Van Gogh. I am at the Beyond Van Gogh Immersive Experience here at the Memorial Coliseum. They are bringing the talent, the history, and the culture of Van Gogh to life throughout this whole exhibit. As you can see, you can walk and actually feel like you are being immersed into his artwork. You get to dive deep and learn about his entire history and what he contributed to art in general. And guess what? I'm taking you on the inside. Let's do it. Joining me now is Fanny Kurta, who is the art historian for the Beyond Van Gogh Immersive Experience. Hi, Fanny.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited to experience the immersive art gallery that's happening right now. It's been so cool so far. So start off by sharing with us about this Beyond Van Gogh.
So Beyond Van Gogh, as you can see, is really about blending cutting-edge projection technology along with Vincent's work. And that allows us to be part of the paintings, to be inside of them. And that's such a unique point of view. There's nothing like it. Yes. There's nothing also like a museum experience. Seeing an original Van Gogh is like magic. It's leaping towards you because it's so bright and dynamic. But stepping beyond the frame and being inside of it, there's nothing quite like it.
Exactly. What you all have created is a full 360 experience where people can not only see the artwork, but they literally feel like they're there experiencing the moments on each of the screens. So share about why you all created it to be like this.
So this show was created during COVID, and it was a hard time for so many reasons. And the idea was to bring something meaningful, a cultural experience that would allow people to be free in the space and just enjoy something that would give them hope. Vincent is known for the darkness in his life. He's known for the ear-cutting incident. He's known for struggling with poverty, mental illness issues. And all of these things are true to a certain extent in his life. But most importantly, that's not what you see when you look at his work. It's filled with color, it's filled with brightness, when you look at an actual Van Gogh, an original painting, if you have a chance to do so, it's already moving, it's already alive. So this show was about breathing a little bit of new life into it, just bring this new angle, this fresh outlook on his work.
Yes, and as we're looking behind us, these are self-portraits of him. So you had mentioned there's only one photo of him, period. And how old was he?
He was 19 years old in that photograph, so he's very young. You have this photograph in this exhibit as well, so you get to enjoy that. But it makes these self-portrait all the more meaningful because you have a sense of who he was, and knowing that he painted over the last 10 years of his life. This covers a short decade of his life, and yet they're all widely different. It goes to show that he's not painting what he sees, he's painting what he perceives. And I feel like that's why we connect with him. It's something more than what you see.
Because we see him through his own eyes, because this is his own representation of himself, which is so incredible. And so throughout this journey of the immersive experience, it starts from the scratch, right? It starts from the very first moments of his life in his original pieces. So kind of just tell me, where do we start and where do we go?
So with an artist like Van Gogh, it's very easy to be chronological because he only painted the last 10 years of his life. And it changes massively according to where he is. And so you do start in the Netherlands where it's much darker tones and he's learning how to paint. It's already widely different than the art that's being made in his era, but it's not yet the Van Gogh you think of when you think of him. And then it gets to Paris and there's something that happens. The light of the Impressionist changes his life. And then you get to Arles, and Arles is pure color. It's most of the pieces we know and love are from that period. And then Saint-Rémy-de-Provence also, where he gets into the asylum, and then Auvers-sur-Oise, where he ends up his life, and it's pure movement. It's a fantastic way of seeing how his style evolves and how an artist that's so widely recognizable. Even if you don't know much about art history, chances are you can identify a Van Gogh. And that's a unique thing. And you get to see it evolve in front of you.
Wow, and he has contributed so much to modern art and him being so historic and so legendary. And so as an art historian, how do you feel that his past pieces have influenced current artwork and current artists?
It's an excellent question because there's so much to say about the freedom of that period. The Impressionists before him and him, he's considered post-Impressionist. There's something about this whole era where they're going against everything that's being made at the moment. He's going against the idea that art is an ideal that's unattainable, and they're looking at day-to-day life and deeming that worthy of being works of art. And that's something that is incredibly important. We're used now to sharing our day-to-day experiences online. We're used to our own subjective point of view. That was not the case when he was around. Sharing your own vision of the world was something that was yet coming to be. And that's a massive difference and a massive shift, and we owe a lot to him.
So Fanny, it is so cool to see the room move, right? And it does feel like you're in the painting, not just looking at it. So share with me about the piece that's up right now.
So now you have a combination of multiple pieces that are from the end of his life. We are in Auvers-sur-Oise, and that's the last place he'll live in. And you can feel the intensity of it. When it's blown up like this around you, you feel that it's not thin layers over thin layers. There's an intensity to it. There's a frantic pace to it. And you can feel that we're slowly building now towards the last painting he ever did. It's called Tree Roots. And when you look at it, it's almost pure abstraction. It's like almost at the end of his life, he didn't even need motif. It was all about color. It was all about intensity. And there's a lot of that. And you feel it so much when you're walking through it.
Yes, and just looking at it a bit closer, we can just take a step back. I feel that since you all have expanded the brush strokes, we're just able to feel such a connection because look how large they are.
Exactly.
This
and you
is
get
so
to
cool.
see, what I like the most is that you see that he's not blending colors. He's put them side by side. You see also the intensity of it, the texture, we call it impasto, just the sheer quantity of paint that there is. And you feel this energy, you feel the intensity of it. And that's a great way of looking at artwork as well. When you look into the detailed nitty-gritty of it, you appreciate it on a whole different level.
Yes, I agree. are in the start, right, of the whole exhibit, the room that really tells his story. So share with me about this experience.
So this is the entry point. This is an opportunity for people to learn more about him, see that there's much more to him than the ear-cutting incident.
Yes.
There's a complexity to him, and it's an opportunity to read his own words, which is such a treasure trove of information. You get to see that there's a philosophical depth to him. There's also like a childlike wonder.
Yes.
There's so many layers, and he feels so fresh and so relevant.
Oh, I love that. So Fanny, can you share with me some of the most interesting moments or dynamic moments a part of Van Gogh's life?
There's so many things that happened to him. One of the most important moments was, of course, when he went to Paris and discovered the Impressionists. Something happened in his mind and color exploded. But before that, before he got to painting, we have to know that he got to it late in his life. He tried to be an art dealer first and failed. He tried to be a preacher like his father, and that failed also. So he got to painting and really embraced it late. But when he got to it, he really dove right in, and there's such an intense rhythm of production. It's almost frantic the way he painted. And this all goes back to also that core moment of the Impressionists, where light's entering his brain.
And you talk about that, him being late in life. So of course he passed when he was 37. And so he kind of, the timeline of course back then in the 1800s are a lot different. So he was in his 20s, discovered this art, went forward and did it until his last day. Yes,
because it was something that really accompanied him. So he obviously ended his own life, and before that he was struggling. We all know the struggles in his life, but what is important to remember is that there was a lot of light also in it. There was a lot of joy, there was a lot of appreciation, and that's really at the core of what he wanted to share. And we know that because of these letters, because of his correspondence with his brother. He was thinking of future generation, of giving them the solutions that were helping him out throughout everything that he was battling. And everybody can relate to battling your own demons. It's something that's still very true for the 19th century and 21st century. And that makes his work incredibly strong, powerful, and fresh. It's about the healing power of nature. It's about the power of color, the power of light. It's about the therapeutic qualities of art. And all of these things are true today.
I love that. I love that. I love the connectivity. The connectivity of art to our contemporary moments is what it all is. Okay, let's keep looking. So now, Fanny, this whole exhibit really culminates to the end of his journey. And through this last frame, there's something special here that you wanted to share. Please share with me.
Because throughout this room, like we were saying, there's quotes of him, there are his own words, and that's really the biggest advantage of his work, all of this knowledge that we have from him. And in this quote, you can see that he's telling us that he admires all of the talent of Delacroix and Millet, both painters that he truly, truly loved and that inspired his work. And yet when he looks at their genius, he says that he has to remind himself that yes, he is somebody and he can do something. And it's just a great example of somebody who's now a global icon, somebody who's widely known across the world. Even if you don't know a lot about art history, you can pinpoint a Van Gogh. And yet he was battling self-doubt, like all of us, and that's just also so inspiring. He was confident in his genius, confident that what he did was true and purposeful, and he felt it, believed it, but there was still doubt. He was still fighting his own demon, and we can all relate to that.
Absolutely. The insecurity of just going for something that you're passionate about, not knowing how it will, the outcome will be, and how incredible now, so many years later, centuries later, we're celebrating him in this moment, and he had no idea that it would happen.
He truly did not know. I get this question a lot of what would he think if he were to come back, and it's hard to say because he wanted to reach as many people as possible, and yet when he was starting to have success in his life, there was a beautiful article written about him calling him an alchemist of light, a genius of color, and yet he writes to his brother saying, I have to reach out to him, tell him it's not me, I need to patch things up. He was not assessing what he would become, the legend he would become. And so it's a good lesson for all of us. We need to plow through, we need to be confident. Something, when it's truly felt, might be worth it.
Absolutely, and taking risks. Thank you so much, Fanny, for taking me on this tour and really sharing your in-depth knowledge.
Thank you, my pleasure.
We appreciate it. And as you all can see, the Beyond Van Gogh Immersive Experience is so cool and something for the entire family to get a piece of history and learn more about his journey. If you would like more information, we'll have their website listed below. This exhibit is taking place through August 10th here at the Memorial Coliseum. We'll be right back. This segment sponsored by Beyond Van Gogh.
Follow us on social media at Living Local 15.
Thanks for tuning in today. I hope you enjoy your Friday and have a restful weekend. You can always rewatch episodes of Living Local 15 on WANE.com and also our YouTube channel. And remember, it's never too late to live your best life, so start living it today. And I look forward to seeing you here on Monday. Bye-bye.
Living Local 15, proudly driven by the Kelly Automotive Group. Go to the Living Local 15 page on WANE.com for recipes from the show, to watch a segment again, and to get information on products and services featured on Living Local 15. Content segments during today's Living Local 15 were paid for by these sponsors.